Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to do a collection update because that's what I figured I should do. Um, and without any hesitation, let's just get right into this. First up, Assassin's Creed The Ezio Collection. Now, this game has gotten a lot of flack, um, and I understand why, because it's just a re-release of the three Assassin's Creed Ezio games. Well, Assassin's Creed games that have Ezio in them. But I enjoy this collection. It's a pretty solid collection of Assassin's Creed games. It's the three best in my opinion. But that being said, I can understand why certain people don't like it because it is just a rehash, but I enjoyed it. It was if you've never played the first three Assassin's Creed games, not the first three, two Brotherhood and Revelations, the Ezio collection is a good way to get into it. Then there's Black Flag, which a lot of people consider this to be the best in the series. I don't. I still think Brotherhood is the best in the series. I know that's kind of an offensive opinion to have, but it's my own. The boating. I wasn't a huge fan of the boating, I guess. But I do know a lot of people did like the boating, but for me, it just wasn't there. Then you have Unity, which I really don't have much to say about Unity because it has been quite a while since I've played Unity. It takes place in the French Revolution. You play Arno, and that's really all I remember. It had a very forgettable story, I guess I should say. Then there's Assassin's Creed Syndicate, another Assassin's Creed game. This one's set in London. You play as Jacob and Evie Fry, and that is really all I remember from this game because just like Unity, it didn't have a very good story. I'm just being honest with you. I have found the past few Assassin's Creeds have had really poor stories. But continuing on, Batman Return to Arkham. This is a great way to experience Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. Both of them very solid games that I would highly, highly, highly recommend. But if you don't, that's fine. If you do, you're getting a great deal because you're getting Arkham Asylum and Arkham City both on one disc, which is fantastic because both of those are great games. Batman Arkham Origins, the third, well, chronologically the third game in the series. Arkham Origins came out before this, but Arkham Origins was a prequel to Arkham Asylum. I'm not a big fan of Arkham Knight. I just don't like the story. I don't like the world. I don't like the area they put you in. The way Arkham Knight plays out, to me, was just kind of disappointing. And that's really disappointing to me because I really did love Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Arkham Origins, not that big of a fan of, but Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, definitely ones you should pick up. Next up, we have Borderlands, the Handsome Collection. This is a collection of Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel. If you've never played a Borderlands game, this is a great way to play one because you get Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel both on one disc, which is, in my opinion, an excellent deal. Especially if you like looters, games where you just run around killing people, looting shit. That's what Borderlands is. It does have a story, but the story isn't really that important, and it's a very comedic game. pressing forward, we have 2 COD games. First up, Ghosts, which I don't remember much of. Yeah, I don't have much to say about the Call of Duty games. They've not really interested me in the past few years. Advanced Warfare, I don't have much to say about it. It takes place in the future. You get to use different guns. You get to use like special jetpack abilities and stuff, but didn't really grab me either. Oh boy. Destiny. Now I haven't played Destiny 2, but I'm interested in it. The first Destiny really disappointed me. It was like an always online multiplayer only FPS. Like, the way they handled the first Destiny was weird. I really think Bungie could have done more, but the first Destiny really disappointed me with how it was handled. It was just kind of like an always online multiplayer only Halo, which I like the Halo multiplayer, but I'm not all about the Halo multiplayer. I do like the Halo single player story, and I was expecting another great single player story, and it just wasn't there. Continuing onward, we have Devil May Cry, DMC, Definitive Edition. This is a remastering of the DMC that came out on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. It runs at 1080p, 60 FPS. It has all the DLC and some new features and stuff like that. If you're going to play this game and you've never played it before, you definitely need to pick up the Definitive Edition. I really like this game, but I know a lot of hardcore DMC fans didn't like it. I preferred the story and the action and the way the game played out. But that's not saying that the first DMCs are bad, because obviously they're not. But continuing onward, we have Doom. Now, this is like a reboot of the Doom series, kind of. Like you can reboot the Doom series. This is essentially Doom 4, but this game is just fantastic. If you've never played a Doom game before, this is the one you should pick up and play, especially if you're younger, because it's just so much fun. It's so bloody. It's so gory. It's just it's such a great game. It took so long for this to come out, but whenever it did, it was totally worth it. Worth every penny. Once again, you should definitely pick that game up. Next up, we have Dishonored Definitive Edition. Now this comes with all the DLC and everything, remastered, 1080p, 60 FPS, all that stuff. If you don't have a PC and the only way you can play Dishonored is on console, you need to get the Definitive Edition. It's definitely the one you should go for. But if you have a PC, you should pick it up on the PC. But this is a great game, great storyline, great action, great characters. This is actually probably one of my favorite new IPs in recent years. And yes, it is that good. It is a solid game. And here we have its sequel, Dishonored II, where you can play as Corvo or Emily. Emily is the character you're trying to save in the first game. I'm trying not to spoil anything about the Dishonored games because they're very story-driven, but you do have the ability to get a good ending and a bad ending in each game. So that gives you the ability for at least 2 playthroughs. But in Dishonored 2, once again, you can play as Corvo or Emily, and you can get a good ending or a bad ending. So that gives you at least 4 different ways to play through this storyline. I just think that's cool. That's just a lot of gameplay for what you pay for the game. Dragon Age Inquisition. I haven't beat this game. I've played it. I got a bit into it. And I felt like this is a game that I should really set aside for whenever I have more free time to play it, so I can really dedicate time to play through this game. But from what I've played, it's a really solid RPG. Not as good as Skyrim, not as good as some of the other ones out there, but it's still a really solid RPG that you should play, made by BioWare. So BioWare has a pretty good reputation. They've made some mistakes. Mass Effect 3 had a pretty bad ending, but Dragon Age Inquisition, from what I've played of it, it's a pretty solid game that you can easily find for like $20 now. You should definitely dedicate some time to it. Next up, Fallout 4. Now this game is just excellent. This is just such a perfect Fallout game. It's just so much fun to go back to the Fallout universe with their sense of humor and their style of comedy. It's just so much fun to play a Fallout game. If you haven't played Fallout 4, you should definitely dedicate some time to it. Far Cry 4. Now this is another game that, once again, if you haven't played it, you should definitely dedicate some time to it. It's kind of like a rehashing of Fallout 3, but it's just so much fun to play a Far Cry game, just because Far Cry is just a fun series to play. I even really liked Far Cry 2. Not as much as I like Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4 or Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. That's another one that you could play. Those are just solid games. I'm going to show these games together. Forza Motorsport 6 and Forza Motorsport 5. Both of these are really solid games, really great racing games. My favorite racing games of the generation so far. But I'll get to what I want to say about Forza with the next game. Because these are both simulation style racers. These are very serious. They take themselves very seriously. And if you're not into that, you're in luck. Because guess what? There's a Forza series for you. It's called Forza Horizon. And this is the sequel. Forza Horizon was released on the Xbox 360. Forza Horizon 2 was released on the Xbox One. Forza Horizon 3 was released on the Xbox One. I have Forza Horizon 3 digitally, so I can't show you a copy of the game. But I do have a physical copy of Forza Horizon 2. And Forza Horizon is much more my style of game. It's much more arcadey, much more over the top. I mean, with the third game, there's a Hot Wheels expansions that has the giant loops and crazy stuff that you see in Hot Wheels tracks. That's cool. So, if you've never played any of the Forza games, definitely pick one up. If you're too concerned about serious type of racing, there's always the Horizon series that you can fall back on, so don't ever feel scared of the Forza series. But continuing on, Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Now, before purchasing this game, I had never completed one of the Gears games. To this day, I still haven't completed one of the Gears games. I'm trying to, but I just haven't found the time to. But I'll get around to finishing this. But from what I've played of the Gears games, I've always had a lot of fun with them. It's always fun to use the chainsaw gun and saw people in half and do stupid stuff like that. The Gears games are always fun. So one day I'll get around to finishing Gears of War Ultimate Edition. But continuing on, Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, I shouldn't really have to explain much about GTA 5, but if you've never played GTA 5, GTA 5 is just a great GTA game. Everyone has their favorite. My favorite is still Vice City, but GTA 5 is just a fantastic game. Great story, great controls, great characters, great comedy, great writing, great everything. Everything about GTA 5 is excellent. This game, in my opinion, is still a perfect 10 out of 10. It does have some flaws, but at the end of the day, I really don't think you're going to find a better open world game than GTA 5. Here we have Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Now this has Halo 1, 2, 3, and ODST on it, I believe. But I can't remember if it has ODST on it. I think it does have ODST on it. But this is a great way to play Halo, all the Halo games if you've never played any of them. Because the first and second games are remastered entirely. And if you hit the back button, you can change the graphics from the modern updated graphics to the original Xbox graphics. It's just an interesting thing to flip back and forth between. It's just fun to mess with. And I've always loved the Halo stories. So if you've never played any of the Halo games, you really need to pick this up. Now that I'm thinking of it, I don't think this has Halo 3 ODST on it. I think it has Halo 4 on it. Not ODST, but Halo 4. Sorry, my bad. Next up, Halo 5 Guardians. And I wasn't a big fan of Halo 5 Guardians, honestly. I think it was a bit of a letdown. The multiplayer wasn't as good. The single player wasn't what anyone was really looking for. I really think 343 kind of dropped the ball on this one. And that's disappointing because I was expecting a lot from this game. Especially since it's rated T instead of M. So you know there was some censorship going on. Probably because they wanted to appeal to a larger market. But that's just disappointing to me because I really, really, really love the Halo games. Next up, Homefront The Revolution. Never finished this game. Don't have much to say about it. I was actually looking forward to this game. I enjoyed some parts of the original Homefront, but Homefront The Revolution was just a letdown. It was just a real disappointment. You really should avoid Homefront The Revolution. Next up, Mega Man Legacy Collection. This is a collection of the first 6 Mega Mans, which, believe it or not, before I bought this game, I had actually never played a Mega Man game, besides Mega Man Battle Arena on the Game Boy Advance. But these are just the first 6 Mega Man games on the Xbox One. Of course, Mega Man is really hard, but Mega Man is also a lot of fun. So, if you have one of the next-gen consoles, I think it's on PC as well, you should definitely pick it up. Continuing on, here we have Metro Redux. Now, this is a remastering of the Metro games, 1080p, 60 FPS for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. The Metro games are just fantastic. If you've never played the Metro games, I highly recommend you pick them up. They're very atmospheric FPS style games. They really, really test you in a lot of different ways. And that's all I'm going to say about them. Because, honestly, if you're not going to buy this game, you need to at least watch someone do a Let's Play of them. Because they are just amazing games. Continuing on, we have Mirror's Edge Catalyst, the sequel to Mirror's Edge. which a lot of people had been waiting a very long time for this. I enjoyed the first Mirror's Edge. I didn't enjoy this one as much. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever beaten this one. I don't remember anything about the story on this one. But I've always enjoyed the style of Mirror's Edge. That's why I always continue to play Mirror's Edge games, because the style of Mirror's Edge is always awesome. Continuing on. NHL 17. I really like the NHL games, but the only time I ever keep a game, a sports game for that matter, is if it's for like a really old console, or there's a member of a St. Louis team on the cover, because I'm a big St. Louis Blues fan. I was a big St. Louis Rams fan until they, abandoned the city. Continuing on. Oh boy. Quantum Break. Oh, what a disappointment. This game... I don't know anyone that this game didn't disappoint. This game, the story just fell flat. The gameplay just fell flat. This game comes with a full game download for Alan Wake, which, honestly, you'd be better off playing Alan Wake than playing this, because Alan Wake is at least good. This game, I believe they actually planned to turn this game into like a spin-off like drama show for Xbox TV, which is weird, but yeah, you can skip Quantum Break. It's not worth your time. Now this, on the other hand, is worth your time. This is the Rare Replay. This is 30 classic Rare games on one disc. There's just let me... Viva Pinata, Banjo-Kazooie, Cameo, Elements of Power, Battletoads, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Just, the list goes on and on and on and on. Perfect Dark, Saber Wolf, RC Pro-Am, RC Pro-Am 2. There's so many games on this. It's just such a great deal for what it is, that if you haven't picked that up and you own an Xbox One, you're letting yourself down. You may have noticed my games are in alphabetical order, which is why Rise of the Tomb Raider is coming up before the original Tomb Raider, but I do have the original Tomb Raider. We'll get to it. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I believe it improves on everything that the original Tomb Raider did. It improves Lara's character, improves the story, it improves the gameplay, the combat, everything about it. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a great game. And if you've never played this game, and you've never played the first rebooted Tomb Raider, there's a definitive edition on the PS4 and Xbox One that you should definitely pick up. Rise of the Tomb Raider is just such a solid game that if you haven't played it, you're missing out. Honestly, you are just missing out. Next up, we have one of the launch games that I got for the system. Ryse, Son of Rome, which some of you may be going, why have you kept this game for so long? I don't know. I really enjoy this game for some reason. It's really short and really stupid, but it's a lot of fun to just play through this game, just slaughtering people. There's just something so much fun about Ryse Son of Rome. The story's not that good, the gameplay is really repetitive, but there's something about it that's so entertaining. And we will continue on with Saints Row 4, Re-elected, and Gat Out of Hell. Now, if you've never played any of the Saints Row games, here you go. Buy this now, and you will be really impressed. But another thing you need to understand, none of the older Saints Row, besides Saints Row 3, are like this. Saints Row and Saints Row 2 are completely different. They're much more like gangbanger stories, but Saints Row 4, keep in mind, you're the president in Saints Row 4. That should just give you an idea of how crazy the game gets. You're the fucking president. Obviously, you're still a better president than Donald Trump. But continuing on, Shadow Warrior. Great FPS game. Solid. Really great style. Really great gameplay. This game is just a lot of fun to play. It's very difficult to describe it. You really should own Shadow Warrior if you have any of the consoles. I believe there's a sequel out for it, but I haven't played that one yet, which is really disappointing to me because I really did enjoy Shadow Warrior. But continuing onwards, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. Now this is a remastering 1080p 60 FPS of Sleeping Dogs, which is like a spiritual successor to the True Crime series, which there were only two true crime games, True Crime Streets of LA and True Crime Streets of New York. But this game is much better than any of them. They are working on a sequel to this, which I cannot wait for. Next up, we have Sniper Elite 3. This game takes place in Africa, unlike Sniper Elite 2, which took place in Germany. But Sniper Elite it's just a solid game. It's a really fun sniping game. The best part about this game is the slow motion kills on people, shooting people in the balls and watching their balls explode. That's always fun. Watching their head explode, watching different parts of their organs. Like, just look at this image right here. Just imagine that every time you shoot someone with a sniper rifle. It is awesome. You should definitely pick up the Sniper Elite games if you haven't already. And I also have this thing for it, which is the Collector's Edition box. And it has some stuff in it. It has a target, some documents here, which I guess I haven't opened, which is odd. This thing, which is also a lighter, not a lighter, a flashlight. I think the batteries in it are dead is why it doesn't work anymore. I still haven't opened it. There's a dog tag in here. And then there's a deck of cards, which are still sealed. This is just something, it wasn't that much more expensive than the regular game. So I just decided, why the fuck not? I'll just get the Collector's Edition and be done with it. It's just something I decided to do, even though it wasn't necessary, and I probably shouldn't have. Continuing on, Sunset Overdrive Day 1 Edition. Oh my god, I love Sunset Overdrive. It is so much fun. It is so colorful, so weird. The weapons are so strange. The style is so strange. The music, just the way this game works is amazing. And I know there's a lot of people that hate this game, but me personally, I love this game. Just the way this game plays is so much fun. You definitely need to pick this game up if you have an Xbox One. In my opinion, it is worth every single penny. And here we have the original Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. This is a 1080p 60 FPS remastering of the original game for the Xbox One and PS4. Basically, with these definitive editions, they just took the PC version and put it on the PS4 and Xbox One. But it's a lot of fun. I really like this game. I know there's some other hardcore Tomb Raider fans that didn't really like it, and I understand that. But I really think it was time for Lara to have a reboot. I think it was time for them to restructure her character, really tell a story on how she became the Tomb Raider that she did. I like it. I know people hate it, but I like it. And here we have... Somehow my games got knocked out of order. Because Titanfall should be here somewhere. I don't know. Here's Titanfall 2, which has a single-player story. The original Titanfall was multiplayer only, and I actually prestiged in the original Titanfall. I didn't play as much Titanfall 2 multiplayer, but I really did enjoy the original Titanfall. But Titanfall 2 is just so much better in every single way. It actually has a single-player campaign, which is really cool. It tells more about the story of what's going on in the universe. So if you want to play a Titanfall game, you can skip the first one. I'm pretty sure the multiplayer community on the first one is dead. I'm pretty sure the multiplayer community for this one is shrinking or really dying out at this point. So if you're going to pick up a Titanfall, pick up Titanfall 2. You can skip Titanfall 1. It's not really worth it. Continuing on, we have Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2. Both of these, I really like both of these. I know people didn't like the character of Aiden Pierce. I really think if you play Watch Dogs 2 and you enjoy Watch Dogs 2 and you enjoy the hacking mechanics and things like that, for you, once again, if you enjoyed Watch Dogs 2, for someone like that, it might be interesting to go back and play the first Watch Dogs and get the story and everything like that. But overall, for how much I actually did like Watch Dogs, I really don't think it's a game that you should absolutely pick up. Watch Dogs 2, on the other hand, I really think if you like open world style games, you definitely should pick up Watch Dogs 2. It's not a requirement, but Watch Dogs 2 is a really, really, really good game that I highly recommend to people, especially if you just bought a next-gen console, which it would be weird for you to just be buying one now. I guess it wouldn't, but moving on, we have The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. I've played like 20 hours of this on PC, and I've probably played about 30 of them on the Xbox One. 30 hours on the Xbox One is what I mean. I really like the Witcher games. I really, really do like all of the Witcher games. It's just this one is so big that it is definitely one of those games that I would have to sit down and dedicate time to, because it is just, I'm not going to be able to just finish that like in a weekend or something like I would with these next two games that are coming up. Wolfenstein, The New Order, and Wolfenstein, The Old Blood. Both of these games are fantastic titles that I highly, highly, highly recommend you pick up. They do have really good stories, believe it or not, and they are really good games. Imagine Doom, but with the Wolfenstein license instead. That is essentially what these are. Machine Games did a great job with both of these, and you definitely, definitely, definitely need to support these rebooted old school FPS because they are incredible titles. And believe it or not, I was trying to get through this quick, and that is the end of my collection. So, please like and subscribe. I would highly, highly recommend it. Not required, but I would recommend it. And I would also appreciate it. But that's all I have in my collection for the Xbox One. And I think next I'm going to do my PS4 and PlayStation Vita games. because I don't have that many PS Vita games, and I don't really have that many PS4 games. So we'll see where that goes. Thank you for watching. Once again, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.